Thank you, friends. Yes, thanks, Maverick. I'm Linear. What's going on? Wedgie, what's going on? Some good games last night. Day all night. Okay, let's go. Ooh, alright. I'm gonna go for some green skin on this guy. Somehow. I might just give you a quick rundown of how we're going with the diorama so far. So there's 10 models. This is the first one I did. This one was done on stream on Party Monday last week, depending on your perspective. He stands at the top of the diorama, so he's fine, he's going well. The next one I did, which I did off stream, was this chick. So she's leaping off the edge of a rock. No one's sort of fully finished yet. Everyone's just in various states of work, but yeah, just important that I get a sense of how they're looking. This chick with her shield, I'm pretty unhappy with how she's looking, but yeah, tricky model. So I need to fix her skin and finish off the red bits. Then yesterday I got started on this big bopper, and he is huge. So yeah, I really enjoyed painting him. Actually, I thought I was going to dislike him, but yeah, he's pretty fun. So he's probably the most progressed of any of them so far. Whaley's playing My Heroes of Might and Magic 4. Awesome. Yeah, so I just need to do his face. His face isn't done. Fix up a few areas, but yeah, so he's pretty cool. And then yesterday I also started this kitty cat. So I really had no idea how I was going to approach this cat, what I was going to do with the skin. What I think I'm going to do is lava skin. So I think I'm going to add some more orange tones, and then I'm going to add little black lines, maybe. But I am going to do this guy today, who rides the hellhound. So that creates that's all the Roman side of things are done, or at least done to a point, which means I probably will need to go and do the base again. But yeah, we'll start that pregnant chick tomorrow on Party Monday. I'm well, thanks, Scott of Alaska. Yes, we are not here to fuck spiders, as my dad is quite fond of saying. What other colours do we want? Definitely want that. And we definitely want that. definitely want some blue. It is indeed a regional thing, my friend, yes. It's, yeah, basically we're not here to waste time. If you want to do something, you just get it done. Don't fuck about. Alright, that'll be good to start us off, I think. Alright. So there's some cool fur. Some cool axes. It's mostly skin tone and helmet. So this will be leather, this will be steel, this will be gold, this will be gold. Yeah, alright. So yes, had a wonderful game of board games last night, wonderful night. Played War of Whispers, which is basically Game of Thrones, the board game, in 30 minutes instead of 5 hours it normally takes. And we played a new one, which we'd never played before, called Orleans. It was quite magnificent. I've been thinking about it a lot since last night. Very excited indeed to play that again. If you haven't played Orleans, it's like the bag building tile laying game where you are adding to a bag of workers that you place out on a board to allow you to do actions, which is adding more workers to your bag. Pretty cool. So I want to keep this skin tone pretty dark because I've got a lot of light skin tones already for starters, but also because this hound is going to be pretty light, I think. So okay, Arcane. If you want to stay up to date on my progress on this diorama, you will be best served by following me on the Twits. Twitter is actually the only place I keep my social media relatively up to date. Awesome, man. Most of the rest of the social medias I keep just because I don't like spamming stuff, because I paint quickly. So. No, I'll just, I'll keep doing it the way I'm doing it. It does mean my Instagram sometimes is a couple of days or weeks behind. Yeah, Twitter's got pretty much live. Whenever I finish painting something, I post it on Twitter. So you get an advanced sneak peek of how I'm going. I would have liked it. And I also would have probably banned you. So yeah, look, last time I was on stream was Wednesday night, friends, and it's been a week of holidays for me. Done a lot of painting, as I'm sure you can tell. And I've very much enjoyed my time off. It feels like 3 weeks has just disappeared in the blink of an eye. That sucks. To be back at work tomorrow. But yeah, that's life. You know. Is what it is. Well, the skin is going to be green ish toned. We're going to have a slightly green toned orky skin tone. Not really human. The guy's got a, I'll zoom in, he's got a sort of bestial face. But yeah, the other reasons are, as you've just alluded to there, the contrast between green and red, the desaturated green contrasting with the hopefully slightly more saturated skin tones, etc. I have very much enjoyed painting these Roman figures. been outstanding, really. And I wasn't sure I was going to like them. I knew I was going to like a couple of them, but I was sort of more into the other aesthetic than these ones. So coming up for me in the next few weeks, hopefully we'll finish this diorama off in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I won't be able to go as quick as I have with the painting, unfortunately, due to the lack of holidays. So we'll probably finish the rest of the painting about 2 to 3 weeks' time. So let's aim for the end of Feb. And then I've got Curse City Diorama, or not Diorama, Curse City Models as a commission, and a jewel model that I'm going to paint, and Katsuru Otoko, the moon, whose face I just dropped, but he's fine. So yeah, this guy. So those are the next few projects. Then what am I going to do? Something, we'll figure it out. Thanks, Wampa. Have fun at D&D. Look, I don't normally take on a lot of commissions, right? Like I rarely accept commissions these days, unless it meets the following criteria. 1, it's a model I want to paint. 2, I get to decide what colours I paint it. And 3, I do it whenever I want. So, yeah. Which I'm in a luxurious position to be able to say yes and no to things. That's my rules. I don't do this as a profession, so I can just do it like that. That's no problems. Some people have to just take on every commission they can because it's the way they put food on the table. So no judgment from me, but I definitely recommend if you can do that, only do commissions for things that you're excited about painting and have those rules. Yeah, it's made me feel much better about commission painting. So, to answer your question, I usually knock them over straight away. So I usually get them as soon as they arrive, assemble them, paint them, send them on. However, if there's any level of disinterest when they arrive, they usually get moved to the back of the pile and can sometimes sit there for a few weeks or months. For example, those Cursed City models did actually arrive, I think it was end of December. I assembled them over the Christmas period, but I wasn't doing an awful lot of painting over that period. Yeah, so they're next after this. I am up to episode 5 of Arcane. It's quite good. The art style is just outrageous, like, does my head in. All I want to do is try and figure out a way to paint figures that looks like that. Yeah, we're halfway through season 2 now. We watched a couple more episodes on Friday night. I'm very excited to keep watching tonight when I go see her. A couple of some super exciting shit just happened. I keep hoping she'll decide that she doesn't like it anymore. Which seems unlikely. Pistachio. This is very good. G'day, Nashland. I read a very brief review after we watched the first season, just of the show, and it said The Expanse manages to be a very character-driven show, even though it's about space battles and political intrigue and all that sort of stuff. But it manages to be about relationships and characters, and I agree with that assessment, and I think that's why I agree with you that my girlfriend is going to want to continue to watch it. Which is good. It's good that we've got that to watch. Otherwise we'd have to talk to each other. Awful. Now we did did an escape room together on Friday. Blackbeard's Treasure. Oh man, yeah. If you haven't done one, the premise is pretty obvious, right? You get put in a room, and you have 60 minutes to escape said room, and you're trapped in there for whatever reason, like the one that we did. We were pirates on Captain Blackbeard's ship. He'd been shot in the chest with a cannonball, and he wasn't going to survive. We had to retrieve his treasure from below deck, but he'd hidden it away behind all these traps. And so that's the premise of why we were in the room. We had 60 minutes because the ship was slowly sinking, filling with water. So we had 60 minutes to retrieve it. And so yeah, they just come up with puzzles, and they'll build the room and paint the room and decorate the room with stuff to make you feel like you're in that location. I did one many years ago in Canberra where you walked into a room and it felt like you were walking into a witch's hut from Salem. It was called the Salem Witch Trials or something, and it was awesome. You had to find spell components, and yeah. So the puzzles tend to be really interactive. Like find X object, put it together in the correct order to get yourself a combination to unlock a lock, or similar to that. It's 10 out of 10. I've done, I reckon I'm probably pushing 50 now. Every time I went down to Canberra, we used to do one. Every time Moops and Whaley came up here, we used to do one. So I did one when I was in Germany. Yeah, so I've done a large number of them, and I highly, highly recommend them. As indeed does Yab. Yabba dabba doo. But I'll tell you what, some of the way that they come up with these puzzles, I don't know, it's awesome. Like we did one which was in an insane asylum. You were trapped in a room that was like an insane asylum. It's quite harrowing. And one of the puzzles had a sensor on the wall. You had to scream to a certain pitch for this to unlock. Man, it was just like 4 dudes in a room. Crazy. But it's just really clever. The Blackbeards one, the one that we did at this one in Brisbane, called Escape Hunt. Pretty much every time you solve a puzzle, the little thing will pop open. I can actually go pop, which is awesome. Okay, let's go. The tiniest touch of green. Probably a little more intensely green than I was expecting. Devasiara! Heyo! What's happening, champion? Welcome to Raider Friends. I'm Big Deno. I paint little toy soldiers. And I have a really great time doing it. I'm hopeful that you will also have a great time watching me do it. Let me show you some things I've done. currently working on a very big project. Yes, this figure is cool. This project is a big diorama. This guy's from the diorama. So is this chick. And so is this big dude. You can't really see. There he is. Go Captain Carp. So very, very big diorama. I don't think I've got a picture of it on here. Thank you. No, that's Gilchrist. Don't know why he's there. Don't know why that one's there either. Good. Well, I don't have any pictures of what the diorama's going to look like. But we are going to continue working away on this chap. It's got lots of models. Looks cool. So I probably took this a little bit too green. So I want to, first of all, darken it up. Second of all, we probably want to desaturate it some more as well. Everyone should go follow Devasiara. So I think what we will do is go for some scarlet. So when you mix complementary colours together, i.e. green and red, you tend to get a desaturated grey. But that grey's usually got a lot more interest than if you were to just paint it with a grey. Usually got some more life. So by using a red tone here, what I'm going to do is desaturate the colour, because I'm overlaying a red on a green. So that's going to take away some of the power of the green. As well as create, you know, a more interesting palette. So there we go. That looks pretty good. Happy with that. All right. Cool. Alright, let's just do a quick smidge of the old dry brush on this cloak. yeah, I don't normally go for cartoons, animated series. Can't remember liking all that many of them in the past. Well, with the obvious exception of Futurama, which is of course a tremendous show. One Ma, thank you for subscribing on YouTube, I think. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. And I want it now. Alright. Let's go about painting some gold. Should be quite fun indeed. So the overall colour palette of this piece is starting to take shape. I probably really should grab it. A picture of the overall piece. I haven't put it together in a while, so maybe I'll put it together today. But we've got very clearly got a very clearly defined palette for these woman soldiers, even though they've never done anything for us. Just a little pun there. I enjoyed it. Yeah, let's go to my Twitter and grab a picture. Well, that's not really. This is about this is about all I've got. G'day, Weetabix. Not that. at. It's obviously significantly more progressed than that, but that's a rough vibe of what's going on. I've got to take a better picture than that because it's so much further advanced than that, but anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put it together. There's Gilly, go King. All right. Okay, let's go. First step is sketching out where I think we want the lights for the gold. And so generally where I'm placing them is thinking about the viewing angle. So if we're looking at this figure, we're probably going to be looking at him like that, roughly, this sort of angle. And so the light will be angled in from that perspective. So we're just roughly sketching that in for the moment. Each of these surfaces has a different way of reacting to light because of the type of shape that it is. So as an example, this is a sphere, and so we generally have a larger section in this area. It's the way that spheres work with light. This section, however, is more of a cylinder, so we're going to have more of this sort of shape. Then the other one. Spherical. So this guy. So there's nothing about this, for me anyway, that's an exact science. If you go and read Kittle's book, he turns it into an exact science and tells you exactly how to do it in a scientific way. I shan't be doing that. Okay, broadside. Here, these little plates and the wristies. G'day, Mini Toro Art, what's happening? Thanks for the follow. So I try to use a lot of strokes across instead of down, because the metal reflects those little striations which tend to be that direction. This one's also a cylinder. But it's not a perfect cylinder. Thanks, mate. So we're not going to have a perfectly cylindrical line. We're going to have some different shapes. And this little object, more of a flat plane. We're going to do a slightly more orange second light, I guess you could say, from over here, which is just going to be very subtle. And we probably won't do much more than this, but it'll just add some tonal variation into the metal, which is always good to have. Great. This bad boy. So when you're unsure, what do I do? Where do I place my light? Always come back to this number one question, which is actually the first question you should ask yourself whenever you're painting any toy soldier. Where's the light source? And so for me, the light source is coming from this direction, and so this object is going to get a highlight along this perspective. Now, there's rules, and then those rules are usually broken for a variety of reasons. The first reason is because it's non-metallic metal. Non-metallic metal does tend to break the rules a little bit. So now we'll go into a little bit more yellowy colour, so we get some gold. And again, the direction of those strokes there, you can see, is very much all in the same way. So if your goal is looking like a banana peel, probably what you're doing is one of two things. Too much yellow, not enough orangey red, or too much highlighting, or highlighting in the wrong spot. Yeah. Hey, look, no judgment from me, mate. It's a possibly the trickiest discipline in miniature painting. So, and I'm only scratching the surface of understanding it myself. So, yeah. But there's usually a few red flags when you're struggling. So the other thing that's always really tricky about this non-metallic metal business is it rarely looks good until right at the end. Literally the last few steps is when it starts to look good. Not before that at all. It's usually rubbish before that. But if you're building up lights in the right place, you'll usually get a sense of what it's going to look like. So we should get a much better sense from this colour that I'm about to do now, in terms of how we're looking. So this is a pretty yellow colour. Bit boring, I know. It's a Sunday morning. Just got to read a little Hugo story from my girlfriend, sorry. Little buddy. Still such a little boy. Well, you'd probably be better off studying someone who knows what the fuck they're doing, but so I have a little bit of a cheat up my sleeve, right, which is something that I think makes my non-metallic metal a little bit more consistent, but at the same time it makes it a little bit too similar. But we'll get there when we get there. So one area I've definitely fallen down is leaving too much / not enough of the underlying colours down. Like, that's one of my biggest weaknesses in this approach, this technique. So sometimes I think I leave too much, and sometimes I think I don't leave enough. It's a very delicate balance. Okay, Robbie's Hobbies. You're welcome, my friend. I exist to be useful, hopefully. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to be painting a model for a charity auction called the Nova Open Charity Auction. It's a pretty big deal, I believe, over in the United States. And I'm going to be doing a one of the Marvel United figures. It's pretty cool. Alright, so we're going into full-on bright yellow now. So this is when it should start to look a little bit more with this one. You don't want to be going crazy. You're right, mate, I have really used my NMM lately. One of those instances where I've used it is in fact right now. size 2Ps. Alright. So I think you can definitely see how much more it looks like gold. What I always find really interesting about this step is how this yellow, which is literally only like a vibrant yellow, looks super bright. I think that's an example of how contrast is not always about going up to the highest value. Sometimes it's just about the colours in use. Well, I think because you've got more like you're going from a much darker starting point, so you're definitely getting more, like it looks brighter because you've got darker darks, deeper shadows. G'day Tanithlas, thank you mate. Alright, so I'm just going to do some very, very dilute glazes here, which is using the same colour but just a little bit more watered down, just to hopefully soften a few of these transitions before we move into the last highlights step. Alright, so last highlight, I'm just going to go basically a very ice yellow-ish colour. This is just going to be just little pops. Pop. So I think that reads as gold pretty well. But it doesn't read perfectly as gold, and it also doesn't match the rest of the fuckers I've done. As always. Alright. Cool, so yeah, I mean that looks pretty cool, right? Looks gold when you're seeing it at a macro level. When you zoom it out, you know, that looks pretty good. But what we might do is just soften it a bit with the old Nasdrag yellow contrast paint. This is my trick. All this is going to do is just tone down the switches. Colour. This is the cheat, right? It is definitely. No practice makes perfect. This is the cheat. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the darks up so they're a little bit lighter. Ah, Calicia. Thanks for the raid, champion. Get your shout out in a second. Haha, Dragon Raid. Awesome, friends, welcome. I'm Big Deno. I'm from Australia. I paint little toy soldiers. Thank you. Let me show you a couple of other little ones I've done. Thank you, Patrick's. Here, I'll show you my favourite project I've done. This is a little something I did a few months ago. Thank you, Chittens, other friends that followed. So yes, that was a project I did last year. I did most of that on stream, and you can go and see the streams. They're uploaded on my YouTube channel. So this model is actually for a very similar scale project. I've got 10 figures that I'm doing on a big diorama. So here is some of the friends from the diorama. This guy. Who's pretty cool. His name's Ariman. And this chick who's jumping with her sword. And then I also did this big chap. Raw. So these are all going to go on the same project. And it looks like this. Sort of. It looks a lot better than that. It's behind me. This is what it's going to look like. This. And we've got this. So yes, that's what I'm doing, friends. Thank you for the raid. Feel free to pop your links and so forth in the chat. I'd love to see them. Let's go and have a look at what you do, actually. Let's go and have a look. Actually, I've got some airbrush stuff. This is just orange for those who are following along with the non-metallic metal storyline. Alright.
Let's go have a look at Calicia.
Good. Cool. You draw art, digital art. You've been doing it for fifth. Oh, awesome! Yeah, I can't understand how people do this. Hey, like it just does my head in. I don't understand how you get the. That's awesome. That's so cool. That's mad. Look at that. Unreal. That's your new emote, is it? Awesome. Well, I've only got one emote. It's this one. Well, I've got a couple, but that's the only one anyone ever uses. Cool. I like it. Alright, let's go back to painting this good chap. I think we'll do some steel. Alright. So we've got steel on this chest, and we've got steel here. We've got these rings, which we'll do in steel. But we'll do the rings later, I think. So. Gonna mix a black colour with just a little bit of blue in it. That's awesome. I don't know how to do that. We all have our skills, don't we? Thanks for the follow. Bees? Not the bees. Anywhere else we want steel? I think so. Let's repaint these. Yeah, the orangey tones in there certainly help, but the way that I sort of get around that is with the contrast paint, so I just added some orange into there as well. No, I don't have a Discord, mate. Well, I do have a Discord. It's called the Dirty Paint Water In, but it's not really my Discord, mate. I just pretend that it is. Just tell everyone it's mine. It's actually run by my friends. Very nice people, though. Yeah, Dirty Paint Water In. I'm floating around there on occasion. Cool. I do like little toy soldier model feedback on this stream, so if you have a painting models and you want to get some feedback on it, you can post it on here and I will give you real-time feedback. However, this is an important however, I don't pull any punches. I will tell you exactly what I think, and sometimes that will make you feel sad. So if you're not comfortable with that, hey Jimbo, don't ask for feedback. I do try to cater my feedback to the level of the painter though. I'm not like, your model sucks and everything you've done is shit house and you should feel bad. I don't do that. Usually. Unless it's someone I know. In which case I pile on. Alright, okay, let's go. No, this is... Okay, let's go, Jimbo, let's go, okay. Yeah, I think we are definitely going to put everyone together on the diorama to finish today's stream off, because I do need to see how everything's looking. I haven't seen it all together, so stick around if you want to see all of this diorama put together for the first time actually. I'm back to work tomorrow myself, Jimbo. Not looking forward to it, mate. Oh, thanks for the subscription, pal. It has gone very quickly. That's wonderful of you to offer that, Kalicia, but I don't think that would be fair. I like paying people for the work they do, so. But you're very kind and generous. Alright, let's do some steel. So, gonna just think about this axe for a second. Alright, this bit's easy. So, again, first question. G'day Charles Barkley. That's a AK 3rd generation black. Now, as in I'm literally on holidays from work. I took some time off. As did Jim, because we both had the Crimson Brush painting competition that we were both in attendance at. I don't think so, no. I may need to. Dress up like Fine and Sam. Alright. So again, we're looking for placement of lights. Placement of lights based on the viewing angle. So this object's going to be reflecting light in this direction, and so the highest point of highlights is going to be on this part here. We'll also get a secondary light down the bottom here. Won't be quite as intense as up here, and then we'll also catch light on this side but not the other side, and this side will be pretty this one's the same. Alright, so I just use the Chimera non-metallic metal set by Michael Pizarski for pretty much all of my non-metallic metal, but I am starting to feel like it's time to branch out a bit. I shan't be branching out on this project, but I do think I need to at some point soon. Alright. So again, direction of stroke is very important here. What we want to indicate is those little striations in the metal that you see. When you look at like burnished metal. Now the edge highlighting is really important with non-metallic metal. One thing we do have to think about actually is reflections from lava that I just remembered I was going to include as a problem for future Trent. Suck it, future Trent. And I give that guy some absolute Barry Crockers, I'll tell you what. Poor guy. Future Trent gets fucked. Alright. So again, this stage, stop doing that, Deno. Stop getting a handful of red paint. At this stage, all we're doing is establishing where we want the lights based on the position of our light source and number one overall rule, which is called the rule of cool, which is completely ignore everything if you can do something that's going to look cool. The most important rule that there is. So now we're going to move into the grey tones. I need to switch, we'll switch brush. So this is the time when the steel starts to look a little bit more like steel, as it does tend to be grey, but it always reflects the surrounding environment on metallic steel, and that's something that we will lean into with the airbrush, because I am very lazy. Thanks Loftman, 3200. I think you're pretty neat. It's always nice to leave some little lines in this. Just some little scratches and stuff. You get to get a much better sense of, particularly on an axe like this one, which is well used. Let's get a lot more. Perspective that it's been used. Cool. Just do this real quick. Don't tell me you're sorry, 'cause you're not. No, you're sorry you got caught, 'cause you put on quite a show. Alright. Can you tell how disinterested I am in this backside? Stupid back. Alright, cool. So now we should get into something that makes it look pretty good. This is the light that first of all sells it as steel. G'day Diddy Lemon, what's happening my friend? Just painting some little toy soldiers my friend. I'll show you what I've done my friend. I've done a fair bit. She's not fully done. I haven't touched that particular model since the stream because I was a bit disappointed with how she was looking, but yeah, how about I show you where all of them are at. So yeah, so this is Arcane. I need to, nothing's finished yet, everything's like sort of 60 to 70%. So here was Monday's stream. This was Tuesday at home. And then this was Wednesday's stream. And then this was Thursday. And this is yesterday, which is what this dude rides on. I had a collector, an Asian collector friend of mine who was very lovely, bought a fair few models from me, but he and his friends had a nickname for me which was Lightning Hands, which I thought was awesome. This guy, I think he's called Ferox maybe. He's called No idea. It's from the Kickstarter. It's all from the same Kickstarter. Kickstarter's called Ultima Thule. So yeah, just go check out Ultima Thule on Kickstarter and you'll be able to see his name. I can't remember his name. The big dude. No, the big Spartan dude. Take a lot to drive me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. It's gonna take some time to do the things we never had. Do 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 do. There you go. Are you sure? Bridgenar's the other dude with the armour. I thought this guy was Ferox. What's this guy? Flammer. Yeah, right. That reminds me of a computer game I used to play, Secret of Mana, when I was a little tacker. Loved it. In Secret of Mana you could ride a dragon. His name was Flammy. Love that guy. Love that game. I think I've only completed like maybe 2 or 3 computer games in my life. Not much of a computer gamer. But I tell you what, that game was awesome. And I completed it like 3 times, I reckon. It was so good. Fuck, it was so good. Loved it. Yeah, I'll probably post it on my Twitter, mate. I definitely won't post it on Instagram. Instagram is a fair way behind. We're just going to add some pop highlights with this airbrush. Some white. Alright. Pretty good. Pretty good. So what we might actually do now is a bunch. No, we won't do that yet. Because I need to use this colour. It exists somewhere. Hello. Hello, Saga Brown. Where are you? Haha. You just do it, man. I wish I could give you better feedback than that, but that is literally what I do. There's one thing that I think probably many people don't consider. It's like environmental light, environmental reflections is a really important part of the way that I paint. Like trying to have everything be very atmospherically correct, or like they're in the same environment. And one of the things that you get if you have a look at light, like light's always bouncing off and interacting with other lights and all that sort of stuff. So if you have an element beside another element, there is always, those two are always talking to each other, like nothing exists in a vacuum. So the reason I'm expressing this is because if you paint a bit with an airbrush and you catch a little bit of overspray like I've caught here or other areas, then all you're really doing is giving the two of them a little bit of cohesiveness. So you're actually like bringing them together a little bit. So from that sense, it's okay that you catch some overspray because all you're doing is harmonising the situation. Now, that can go too far, of course, but generally it's not a bad thing. That's how I convince myself that it's okay to just go hammer and tong with the airbrush. Not that I need much convincing. G'day Conrad, what's happening mate? Late night for you buddy. But it is Saturday, I suppose. Haha, Phoenix. Long time no see my friend. What is happening? Oh. How is she going? G'day, Sir Entity. Yes, mate. No, I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for the raid. We're working on another crazy big diorama. Haven't done. Jade Draker. How are you? Ah, thanks. Thank you, Ivana. Anya. I did, yes. Yes, I painted the axe on stream. I started this guy on this morning. So everything that you see here is done on stream. I try to do a stream for American viewers, and I try to do my normal streams which catch the European viewers mostly in the mornings. So, hey Jet. Yes, I did this on this morning's stream, and the people that have been here from the start can attest to that. Okay, cool. We are going to do some well, I reckon some people might be interested in watching that, but only if you're extremely attractive and wearing a bikini, downing a bucket of KFC chicken. I do own a bikini actually, so maybe I should try that. Hot tub KFC eating. We could be starting a new Twitch sensation here, friends. Okay, let's go. Everyone that's not already following Phoenix on my stream, go follow Phoenix. Wonderful painter, wonderful man. I have one of his models in my cabinet. Great human. What is my food of choice? Look, probably Italian in general. I haven't set that shit up, mate. It was set up and then fucking Flick broke something and now it doesn't work, so I don't worry about it. Yes, thank you. If you haven't seen, I a couple of weeks ago hosted a painting competition here in Australia, and we did a couple of streams over the weekend, and one of the streams that we did was actually a live stream of the judging. So we actually judged all the figures from the competition on stream. Worth watching if you are interested in listening to me talk. So that probably narrows down the number of people that would be interested in watching it. But the other advantage of watching it is you get to listen to Sebastian Archer, who's one of the greatest miniature painters of all time. And he talks about a lot of great stuff. It is on my YouTube. As are all of the streams. agree with you there, Conrad. It was so cool. Him, a couple of years ago when I took over, we got to say, hey Seb, why don't you paint a model for the thing? Because I was going to judge with Alex and Marco. And so Seb didn't talk. Seb didn't talk to anyone for the whole lead up to the event. And everyone thought, oh, he's not coming, he's just, he's dogging us. Anyway, the submissions close at 2 p.m. and I shit you not, at 1:55 he rocks up. It's like, oh hey, is it too late to enter? It's like, no Seb, it's not too late to enter. Your dog, obviously you know what time the judging enters or entries close. So he rocks up, pulls out this model, he's like, oh yeah, that was the first one. He sculpted it and he painted it like in the 2 weeks before the event or something. And no one knew he was doing it. And it won Best in Show. And it was, Persephone from Veiled Lamp. That was the piece. And he made some casts, and I got one of those casts. And at the time, he said, this is it. I'm never making any more casts of this. There's only 5 of them. And then we all convinced him to sell busts and do more busts. And now he's doing it quite a lot. The old Veiled Lamp starting to take off. His latest release certainly put him on the map, I think. It's Katsuru Otoko. Which I've got sitting up there, which I'm going to paint soon. Oh, he knows what he's doing, old Seb. He knows. Talks a good game, that bloke. Oh, nice little bit of chunko there that I didn't trim off. Nice. Yeah, he's a fucking rock star, man. Whoa, awesome. Fuck, how'd you do that, Conrad? That's wild. G'day, Brian Guitar. Thanks, mate. Yes, had a little break. About three weeks off, I think we had. And by we, I mean me. Yeah, excited to be back. It's impressive, man. Alright. Our figure is starting to look a little more progressed, which is good. But we do need to establish how he looks on his mount, which we'll do a little bit later on. Yeah, it's an aspiration of mine as well. I've got a couple of little busts that I've half started sculpting up in somewhere over there. I'd really like to learn digital sculpting though. I think it's certainly more accessible than physical sculpting, even though I'm probably got a leg up on physical sculpting because I've actually done a fair bit of it. I've just never sculpted something from scratch. Sculpted legs and arms and what have you. Would love to, mate. Don't know what I'm going to be able to tell you though, pal. That's a fun story. When I was about, I reckon, 11. Thanks for the follow, Skyhawk. There used to be this little shop, not super close to my house. Like I had to get my mum and dad to drive me there, but close enough that it's only like 10 minutes away. And the shop was called Dragon's Keep. And in Dragon's Keep was, yeah, and this is like in the early 90s, and so it was still not a popular thing back then. Running a game store was probably, well, it did end up going out of business, so it must have been very unprofitable. But it was there for a number of years. Anyway, yeah, so Dragon's Keep, and in Dragon's Keep they had Dungeons and Dragons books plastered all over the walls, they had Warhammer figures, they had all sorts of role-playing games, like not just D&D, they had everything. They had a little arcade game at the back, which was actually the Dungeons and Dragons arcade game. And yeah, it was next door to a Blockbuster. So, and my mum and dad, like the shops that we used to get our groceries from, was like 2 minutes away, so I managed to convince mum to drop me off at Dragon's Keep and go do the shopping, and I just hang around there. So yeah, I picked up my very first figures from there. The figures that I picked up was the Empire Halberdiers, the little plastic dudes that stand there like that. I bought, as I think they came with 10 in the box. I bought those and a bag of flock. The bag of flock cost $7, and the Empire Halberdiers box cost $9.95, I think. And that was it. Started me off. And yeah, I mean, in that era when I was in my teens, I bought 40k box, did a Chaos Warrior army. I bought the Warhammer Fantasy box, did a Lizard Man army, and I entered my first tournament with the Lizard Man, actually, which was cool. And then, yeah, the old green sawdust, exactly, $7, bargain. And I bought Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, the black books with the red writing. And yeah, I mean, I basically had no money, right? I was just So I was saving up to buy those things. I only buy one thing and then just have it. But I told this story way back when I first started streaming, but I vividly remember a time when my mates were going down to Dragon's Keep and I had no money, and I was just excited to go. I wasn't at all concerned that I didn't have any money. It was just cool to hang out there, right? But my mum gave me $20, a little $20 note, said, "Oh, here you go, Trenny boy. I know you don't have any money, so just buy yourself something nice." And I bought a Nurgle Plague Marine Champion, one of my favourite models that I've ever bought, because I remember that. Thanks, Wal. What a legend. Call my mum Wal. Yeah, so from there, I Dragons Keep closed down, I think, eventually. And then when I finished school, I started working full time at Games Workshop and painted a number of armies during that era. And yeah, it was awesome. Red shirt, yeah, it was red shirts back then. But I became a store manager for them, so I ended up getting a black shirt. I started as a casual, running games. Okay, cool, so I can probably explain the fur. So I start by doing fur with a lot of wet and wet blending to create a lot of interesting colour tones underneath, and then I move up in stages. The key with fur and with hair is to focus on clumps, so you don't want to paint like individual strands, because it tends to look wrong. You want to focus on clumps of hair. And once you've done enough highlighting of the clumps, then you can do some individual strands. But I'm also probably going to do a little airbrush over this just to add some colours back in. Long time ago. Yeah, that was the year 2000 to 2003 I worked for Games Workshop. Great era for Games Workshop. Warhammer 6th edition came out. 2nd edition 40k had been out for a while, but the one that happened during my time was the Lord of the Rings strategy battle game. Although back then it wasn't called that. I don't think it's called something else. I do feedback. Yeah, all you got to do is post some links in here to pictures, and I'll happily do feedback. But so we had these rules back then. It was very, very strict. It's called commingling. I still vividly remember this, right? Like, because it's such a seminal part of my life. I mean, I'm still here doing it now, so I still remember all this stuff like clear as day, because it's what got me on this path to begin with. It was awesome. It was unreal, the Lord of the Rings. Like, we got drilled at the start. They were like, look, you're not allowed to put Lord of the Rings boxes on the same boxes, on the same shelf as Warhammer stuff, because we don't want to be seen as trying to promote our product as cashing in on the Lord of the Rings success, which is literally what they were doing, right? But yeah, so yeah, we all the people that worked, we had a really cool team of dudes up here in Brisbane. There was 4 stores. We hired out theatre for the Fellowship of the Ring, so we had all of us, all our partners and stuff. We hired out the cinema for everyone as a gold class cinema. And we had 40 odd people there. It was awesome. It was such a unreal experience. G'day Megatron. Autobots. Rollouts. a lot of people go through a bit of a hobby depression after they work for Games Workshop or leave Games Workshop, you know, because you have to live and breathe it for such a long time. It's really easy to get burnt out on the game. I didn't really do that because, Nicker Jags, a lot of my experiences with the hobby were actually at tournaments. Like I started playing Warhammer tournaments back in that era. I used to love it, absolutely frothed over it. So, yeah. The airbrush pressure is usually about 15 psi, and I have a couple of airbrushes. Yeah, I did do a video log, well remembered. This is the larger one that I use for priming and varnishing. This is the one I use for my detail, the HPB Plus. It's very good. Yeah, awesome. I did a couple of video logs actually. I did one. It's called A Doge's Breakfast. Yeah, no, you're right. Just pop the pictures in the chat. We'll get to it when we get to it, but it'll be pretty soon, I think. I haven't really thought about getting back into tournaments, no. It's a pretty big, it's a big time commitment, and I think when you're younger you don't really think about it. You're just like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll spend a weekend playing Toy Soldiers. These days, you know, I want to spend a weekend spending some time with my girlfriend, spending some time relaxing so I don't have to worry about work. But yeah, I mean, I still like participate in Toy Soldier painting competitions, so I think that's sort of similar. We did used to run Games Day back in the day. The store that I worked at won a Best Terrain board, which was a staff award that they did at Games Day. We made Osgiliath, and when I say we, I literally mean I made Osgiliath for Lord of the Rings, and it was a modular Osgiliath, so you could actually move the buildings around. It was awesome. And yeah, so we won that, and then I don't think I ever got anything in the staff Golden Demon. I wasn't, I wanted to be a good painter, but I just straight up wasn't back then. But I was fast. But I think everyone that works at Games Workshop gets pretty fast. So yeah, good times. And then I left Games Workshop. And yeah, kept playing tournaments, and that's how I met all my mates from Warhammer, which is, to this day still some of my best friends from the Warhammer scene. We ended up participating in tournaments pretty much all over the country, and we'd all go together, and there'd be one big one usually every month or two. So there was one in Canberra called Convic, one in Brisbane called Oktoberfest. There was DogCon, CanCon, and so we'd all go to these big events and stay at each other's houses, and we'd play a Warhammer Poker Tour, which was just another thing that Big Dano brought to the world, because I was mad keen on Texas Hold'em poker back in those days. Yeah, it was good. It was good fun. And then at the release of Warhammer 8th edition, I played the first 8th edition tournament of Warhammer, which was called Pilgrimage, and I won it. And then I decided to start playing War Machine. Played War Machine for 5 years. I competed at the World Team Championships in Warhammer, competed at the World Team Championships in War Machine, so on and so forth. And then did Guild Ball, competed in the World Team Championships in Guild Ball. Oh, the Iron Gauntlet, sorry. No, the Iron Gauntlet was the War Machine World Champs. And I played in the Guild Ball World Champs. Yeah, I was a Crix player. For a period of time, they probably would have called me the #1 Crix player in the world. They would have been wrong though. Guild Ball's mad. Yeah, old Rusty. Know him very well. So I almost went to work over in the UK in Manchester with Steamforged. They offered me a job in games design, and yeah, I actually spent that weekend where I went over there for the Guild Ball, the Steam Con. Yeah, hung out with Russ and did some painting. Watched him sculpt his dudes. Yeah, he's a legend. I taught him a few things about painting. Okay, so this is a Tyrannid and an Eldar. Looks like a Howling Banshee leaping onto this Tyrannid on what looks like a craft world that's been infested by Tyrannids. I don't normally give a lot of feedback on dioramas. People only give me one model, so I have to think about this. So I'll start with the composition. I really like the composition. You've got sort of nice like diagonal composition. I think you can see my mouse. So you've got this nice flow of composition where you've got all these lines that are sort of pointing you down, and then this one brings you back up here. This one brings you in. But I do think that there's probably some focal point missing, and we can fix that with some painting a little bit, but it sort of doesn't feel like it's leading into a specific spot. Like the first thing I sort of look at is actually this little bit of Wraithstone, if I remember rightly, that's what it's called. Because it's sort of like pretty high value, and it feels like this is where the line's taking me to, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a really nice composition. Like I talk a lot about negative space. There's lots of good negative space elements. The Wraithbone ruins look really good. The Tyrannid stuff looks really good. Yeah. What I think it slightly falls down in terms of the painting is that we have a similar value, sort of light dark contrast all the way down here to here. They're all done to the same value, and I think you need to condense the viewer's perspective towards the key focal area, which is this jewel. And so the way that you do that is by reducing the value contrast on these outer areas so that there's just one central focal point, which you'll obviously still look around and see stuff, but you want to create higher value in this central area to draw people's gaze to there. I find the Howling Banshee gets lost a little bit. Yeah, Tanithlas has highlighted specifically why that focal point piece is important. The Howling Banshee gets a bit lost, and I think you probably want to really add an intense red to their to the hair, because red is like the human eye sees it first, because it reminds us of blood, which tells us danger, which makes us run like crazy. So red tends to be an area where you pop to straight away. So I think changing that hair to really vibrant, intense red is going to help bring some focus to the Howling Banshee. And I think increasing the saturation on this Tyrannid here and in this area here is going to help reinforce that the rest of this stuff is ancillary to this story that's happening here. Off the top of my head, this dude is not an Eldar model. I think that's like one of the Wood Elves or something, or High Elves, whatever they're called now. And I can actually sort of feel that a little bit. It doesn't quite fit in at the moment with the story. Yeah. No, it's fine. There's something about it in this angle. It doesn't feel like it fits in. I would up the contrast and up the saturation on this whole element to really draw your gaze in here, because she's the pivotal star. She's leaping in to fuck this guy up. She needs to be the thing that you look at first. Absolutely need to see her and go, whoa, awesome. So, I mean, in terms of the technical painting, it's awesome. You know, you've put fucking probably hundreds of hours into this. It's really, really neatly done. That wing's beautiful. So the sort of stuff that I'm talking about now is like more theoretical than technical. You know, your technical painting's really good. The axe is really nice. So yeah, it's now more about, you know, why are the colours there? Why are the colours what you've chosen? You know, how can you harmonise them a little bit better? How can you reduce contrast, reduce focus in that specific way that I sort of talked about? And I think, yeah, overall, this is an awesome piece that, yeah, it really captures what's important in a diorama, right? You need to have a story. You need to have something, connection between the figures in your diorama, and there's obviously connection. You know, you've got really interesting composition, really cool lines, you know, lots of negative space, lots of things that you can turn around and pick it up and have a look at. It's really cool. So super impressed. Should be really proud of that. And that gets a follow from Big Deno. So yeah, I can explain how to use inks. I mean, I use the airbrush, right? That's the airbrush is always my go-to tool. So inks are transparent, and they will. Oh, thanks, Megatron. And so they will filter the color, and what they tend to do is reduce the contrast, reduce the value shift in an area. So when you use an ink, you'll actually lessen the impact of an area. Now, if you use a saturated color, you can add intensity, and I actually did that in this stream on the gold. So you can go and see that, but I'm actually about to do it on this fur, just so you can see what I mean. And then we're going to put everything together for my diorama. It's going to be glorious. Probably. Or it's going to be awful. This is the first time I've actually put the diorama together, so we'll get a good idea of if it's working or not. yes, contrast paints, inks, all of them need to be toned down. Well, look, we had a great conversation a few months ago about something that a dude claimed Alfonso Giraldez said, which is that no painter uses matte varnish. You don't need to matte down inks if it is improving the look of what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to have a contrast between shiny and matte, and you use an ink, it's going to help create another layer of contrast. Contrast is not just value. You can also have color contrast, you can have texture contrast, you can have reflectiveness contrast. So haha, Ghost Raven, what's happening? It's been Raid Central up in here. So sometimes you want to have a shiny area because it creates a contrast between the matte areas. Alright. Yeah, correct, mate. That's why do you think I invite so many painters to come and stay at my house? Okay, Pixel Raj. Everyone should go follow Ghost Raven, he's a champion. Well, you've arrived at the right time because I'm about to put together the diorama for the first time. So I'm going to use inks now. I'm going to use contrast paints, which are kind of inks, just with a little bit more substance. So I want to tone this down to be a little bit grayer. So I'm going to use Space Wolves Grey first of all. No, it's not done, but it's been some good progress. Just gonna hand dry this bad boy. So what I'm doing here is focusing on the shadows now. So that way the highest value areas are only on the raised sections. Don't eye him, he deserves it. Shit guy. G'day, mate. Alright, so I'll add some very light highlights after that. And that will finish the fur off. For the moment. Okay, let's go. Alright, you're going to get to see the magic. This is where my legs go. Hello, Trent's legs. Let's see. It's not that fancy top. Are we zoomed out? Yes. Alright. Oh, contrast paint from Citadel is absolute banger. I use it on literally every project. Alright, you're going to get an idea of the scale here. Yeah, alright, we're going to have to do something. In a second. Alright, coolio. So, this guy goes here. Yeah, it's a bit excessive, isn't it? Oh no, I broke this guy's fucking thing. You're a dickhead, don't I? This is why you don't do this, you fucking mug. He goes there. No, it's actually smaller. This chick is jumping from here. One is not for the folks at home. Sorry to leave, though I have to go. Who the fuck wants to die alone? All tied up in the desert sun. Where's this one going? It's got a hole there, so it must be there. There. What did I do? Her? Yeah, that's her. Oops. I'm going to need to move this back, the camera back, aren't I? Okay. Stand by. Gonna have to bring this camera down a bit, I think. I've got some other friends to put on there too. Let's put some other friends on there. He's going there. I'm sure you go here. Yeah, you do. Whoa. Your sword's a bit close to his head, love. Might have to fix that. I didn't put the sword on when I had done the model last time. Let's do the teddy bear. I'm gonna lean them more towards the same colour as the ground. So the teals and greens and stuff. Hey Bucks. This little dude rides on here. And then we've got the big dude and the Valkyrie, so I don't know that I'll get them at this stage, so. This is going well, Deno. Fucking hell, it's very big. It's very, very big. Alright, there we go. How do we feel about that? Hello, I'm behind these lights. So I like this guy, and I landed a really good job on the where his highlights need to be, the focal points. No, I didn't do the ground on stream, mate. It's too big. This chick's good. I like her. She got a really good pose. Ariman's okay. I definitely need to do more contrast with him. This chick, I actually definitely need to do a lot more reflective portal light on her, like a lot more, which is good to know because she's right in front of the portal. So here's the story of this diorama. So this guy has opened a portal into the realm of Hyperborea, and in doing so has cracked open the earth and lava's started spilling up from under the ground. So Hyperborea is a very snowy, cold place. So there's going to be snow, and probably there's going to be a tree here with some snow on it, snow all up on these elements and so on, which would be cool. I'm just not sure how that's going to work with the lava. So the snow, I'm obviously going to melt the snow towards the ends, towards that. So I want it to basically look like the cracks just opened up. I feel like this guy needs to be a real focal point. He's going to have to be very bright. No, I use this snow effect from Arcane, mixed with a little bit of this. A little bit of this. Alright. There's the Valkyrie stands up here, and the big dwarf dude's down here. He needs to turn out more. Yeah, there's two more figures. The Valkyrie's up here, and the big dwarf bruiser is up there. Here. Oh, it's definitely too much. Everything about this piece is too much. I feel like I need to do the lava so I can understand how much light I want there. No, I took the giant's head off the Valkyrie. Let's use it for another project. Yeah, so what I'm pondering right now is the focal points, how the models look together, what I can do to tie every element together. So there's a lot of different things happening. I mean, this is a different type of diorama to the one we were talking about with Taze, which is a much more story-based, cohesive diorama. So that's a lot easier to come up with specific feedback for that sort of piece. This one, it's much harder to have a single thing, because there's supposed to be lots of little jewels happening, so we've got this jewel here between these two, so we've got this jewel between these two, we've got this jewel between these two, and then we've got this jewel between these two. So we've actually got effectively 4 stories like what Tay's got on her single diorama. Then you've also got this guy who's supposed to be the central figure, and this chick who's supposed to be ancillary but about to come down. Yeah, so I'm probably going to have a tree here. And we may have a tree here. And there'll be like proper evergreen trees. Potentially here as well. And there'll be a lot of snow and stuff as well. So the snow will sort of melt away as you get closer to the lava. Yeah, we could go a tree there, I suppose. That might work. I don't want to lose visibility to each of the figures, and there should be like a specific. Hello, Ramascara. There should be a specific element or a specific angle that each story looks best at. So, for example, what we're looking at the moment, this should be the best story. But as we turn, we should get into these two. If you're looking from up top, it should be these two. And yeah, I think so, mate. I think that's the plan, and that's I sort of wanted to get each of these to a level so we could look at it as a whole and go, okay, we need to go more X, Y, Z. So yeah, we'll definitely start the north side next. We're going to do her tomorrow on Party Monday. And then I actually think the base needs a work, like what I'm going to do with the base. So this in a way should be the one thing that's most intense, because this is what's causing all of this to happen. Yep. So if the portal is the most vibrant thing, everything's coming out from the portal. So we'll have more vibrant colours on her back. We'll have some reflections, more reflections on him, and then that'll really shape the ground around this whole area. So that'll create a warm focal point up here. You'll catch some overspray on this guy and potentially a little bit on that dude up there. The second brightest element, but I want this to be a little bit darker, a little bit greyer, but there'll be red colours coming up from underneath from the lava. So we'll have some red underglow on this guy and on this guy, and then we'll catch some on this dude over here. So I've already started to incorporate that into his skin tone. We could go some light from through here, because this is supposed to be a doorway into something. So we could go some light, like reflecting from behind this chick. I'm not really happy with this chick's position. Yeah, see you, Conrad. Thanks, buddy. So yeah, so we could go some like backlight of some cold light from here, which will then sort of counterpoint to all the warm light, but that may not be necessary. You know, just some real subtle like blue greens from underneath. There's going to be a lot of blue green from coming up from the ground anyway. So yeah, I think I need to understand the lava. The snow's going to really like change up the ground a lot, so I need to do grass, lots of little dead grass elements, and then I'll put on some snow, and then we can assess how much of this needs to be highlighted more, that sort of stuff. So I don't mind it, friends. I don't mind it. It's a lot. I don't know that it's my best diorama. Just taking a photo there, because it is very much a challenge to have a focus, but I don't think you do this sort of diorama to have, like, I think this is all about the spectacle, if that makes sense. You're trying to wow people by all of the different things that they can see, so you don't want to have the same level of specificity that you do on a more compact diorama, which is trying to tell a single story. This one's trying to tell multiple stories. I like, the other reason that it's important to do this, and I learnt this from Camelot and my other dioramas that I've done, you really need to look at the lighting and make sure it's consistent across every model. You know, so if we've got a light source from top down here, which we do, now this guy's perfect. Now this guy also pretty good, and that's because I knew their placement pretty well. This chick's okay, but I could do more on her. I need to do more on her in general. This guy probably needs some work. This chick's actually pretty good, but she's just a long way off being finished. So all of the light placements on all of those is pretty good, which is pleasing. Means this chick's going to be easy to do. This guy's going to be easy to do. This guy's going to be a tricky one. We're probably going to have to break some rules for him, because we want to have this whole, I suppose it'd be okay. Before I do this guy though, I need to understand this. Nice clean up work there, Deno. Some of your best. So this whole area needs to be done. So we might spend some time doing the base this afternoon. Cool. All right, friends. Well, I reckon that might just about do us for today's stream. How do we feel about that? I feel pretty good about it, actually. So, suck it, Trebek. Suck it long and suck it good. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you had fun. I certainly did. Let's go find someone we can raid. Raid! It's my pleasure. Anytime. Well, not anytime, just the times I'm actually streaming. But yeah, so I'm back tomorrow night for me, which is in about 8 hours from now. But tomorrow. 24 plus 8 hours is when I'll be back online. And I'll be doing some of the pregnant lady. Let's find a miniature figures person we can raid into. Feel free to share with me any of these people who are legends. I know Wapelius, I've raided him several times before. Painting Pirate, he's new, he's got 25 viewers. Honey Badge ZW, painting Blood Angels, let's have a look at that guy. Aspire painting, he's painting like a Pokemon, what a legend. Peeb TV, I like helping people that are very struggling with their viewers. How's Peeb TV going?
Pigs in chocolate peanuts,
We've made
said on his stream, how the hell can you sexualise chocolate peanuts more?
You've got a magnificent 1080p stream, son, and you've got possibly the worst focus I've ever seen. I also can't see your melon. You're killing me, friend. Come on, mate. Got to do better than this. This is a disaster. Peeb TV, come on, champ. There he is, the big fella, Peebs. We'll put him on the maybe list. Be quiet, Peebs. Aspire paint. What are you painting, friend? He's been on for 11 minutes, so he probably hasn't started yet. Unlike Big Deno. He needs to go. Let's have a look at his Instagram. I like the cut of this guy's jib. What What are you talking about, friend? Can't hear you. Yeah, exactly. At 11 minutes, I was almost finished. Honey Badger.
The wise coming.
See, this guy's got some good. Is there a cat cam on that one? Yeah, there's cat cam. All right, we're probably a strong Aspire painting raid, but let's have a look.
Yeah. So I used to paint demonies before this, so much smaller, different scale.
Honey Badger's got a bit of South African in him.
Been like,
where is he
I
from?
would argue, well, putting time and effort in, and they do. I have to say, my first couple ones, I was like, oh.
All right,
Yeah,
Honey Badger's out. Painting pirate. Team Cypher. How does one get on a team on Twitch? Surely I should be recruited for a team. Let's go follow Aspire Painting Friends. Let's have a raid on him. He seems like a top bloke. And he's got a cat cam. I'm in. Raid.
Okay, here we go. I am now.
Aspire Painting. Okay, let's go. You're all wonderful friends. Have a glorious time. See you again when I see you. Hopefully tomorrow on Party Monday. Raid!
She was incredibly particular. There have only been 2 people who could openly pet her, and she's fine with it. One was my old roommates. Oh, snap. Party of 48. Big Dano. Thank you very much for the raid. You caught me when I am. You caught me when I'm like in between projects, not working on anything. So I figure I should probably actually start working on something. Give me a moment to arrange here. If I'm correct, I'm gonna. Oh, thank you, shout out. Big Deno, you do painting, correct? Miniature painting? I have not followed it yet, but I am going online to rectify this.
Digimon.
Okay, here we go. Followed by him. Anyone else who wants to see some cool mini painting, head on over to Big Deno.